So recently, there's been a lot of heated discussion in the Phantom Forces community about the recent M107 and the balance changes it's undergoing. Other creators have made videos about it, but then received literal death threats and were actually subjected to targeted harassment because of it. And when it reaches that point, I think it's time to sit everybody down and talk about the M107 in Phantom Forces. Now, in this video, I want to go into detail about what exactly is happening to the M107, what these balance changes mean for the M107's gameplay, and my personal suggestion to this M107 rework. Now right off the bat, let's get one thing straight. The M107 is not getting nerfed or buffed. It's what many would refer to as a revamp. Basically, Stylis is revamping the M107's stats in order to try and make it a balanced weapon, which can be a difficult task as seen with previous balance changes. This is why the M107 is not getting nerfed nor buffed, simply because the M107 stats can't be lowered or increased to properly balance it out. The M107 was simply built on an overpowered foundation, and as a result, no nerf or buff can balance it out well enough. It's simply just too powerful. This is why it's getting reworked, so Stylis can try again and re-release the M107 with a fresh pair of new stats as if it was a new weapon. But speaking of stats, let's get into what this rework actually is. The M107 rework is focusing on making the M107 a lot less versatile and truly glue its roots to being a slow but powerful long-range sniper. The way they did this was by reworking its damage so it functions like the gyrojets. This means that the M107 is not able to one-tap in close range, but however, is able to one-tap to the torso anywhere past 100 studs. The M107 was also fitted with a new RPM of 200. Now before you rush to the comments and call it unbalanced, you have to remember one thing. The M107 has such recoil that you'll never be able to fully utilize the 200 RPM, and even with good recoil control, the max RPM you'll be able to consistently kill people at range with will be below 100, as the recoil past 100 RPM is simply not controllable. Now you may be asking yourself, but what if I don't use the scope? Well, unfortunately, the devs thought about that. If you put on any sight that isn't directly a sniper scope, your aim speed will be hard set to roughly 1.5 seconds. Because the aim speed is now hard set, putting on a skeleton grip will, as a result of this hard set, not actually increase your aim speed anymore. Hard setting stats will become a bit of a pattern that we will continue to see the further this video goes on. The second balance change has to do with the M107's extended magazine attachment. First off, you now only have 20 reserve ammo compared to the old 30, which now means you'll run out of ammo after just 2 reloads. When the M107 has the extended magazine equipped, its aim speed and walk speed are also hard set. This means when you use the M107 with extended mag, you walk at a speed of 9 studs per second and have an aim speed of roughly above 1.5 seconds. Again, because these stats are now hard set, no attachments will be able to alter or change these stats. The third and final balance change is the CQC barrel. Because the M107's one-tap torso range now works differently, the CQC barrel had to be changed as well. The CQC barrel's main function now is to allow the M107 to one-tap torso in close range, although only up to about 85 studs. And because the M107 with CQC barrel can one-tap torso in close range, it of course as a trade-off loses its ability to one-tap torso past close range, which as a reminder is 85 studs. The main purpose of these balance changes is to neuter the M107's powerful capability of being able to be insanely powerful at any range. More precisely, the M107's power is getting rebalanced. Its capabilities at being the best all-range gun in the game are being changed so it no longer shines at every range imaginable, especially not in close range, but rather change it so the M107 exclusively shines in long-range sniping situations. As said before, these balance changes were put in place to stop the M107's powerful capability of being extremely powerful at any range in Phantom Forces. The M107's gameplay is now all about effective and powerful long-range sniping. With its high velocity and 10-stud penetration, you'll be able to dominate at far ranges. But hold on, what about the CQC barrel? The CQC barrel is now the go-to attachment for people who are still determined to run the CQC 107. With the CQC barrel, they'll be able to take advantage of the M107's new 200 RPM, as being accurate at range isn't necessarily a concern anymore. Although for sights they'll have to get creative, as pretty much every single non-scope sights hard sets the M107's aim speed, and they are unable to run extended mag because of the walk speed hard set alongside low reserve ammo and hard set aim speed. I have 2 suggestions for a possible M107 fix, so to speak. In my opinion, the balance changes are great, although there are a few changes I personally would make to these. The first one being the 200 RPM. The M107 does not need nor can really use the 200 RPM given to it due to its obviously incredibly high recoil. Sure, it's great for the few who run CQC barrel, but let's be honest here. The large majority of M107 users camp with it rather than go the aggressive quickscope route. There are just so many better alternatives to the M107 in that field. Also, I think the sight aim speed hardset may be a little exaggerated, as scopes like the VCOG 6x scope still hardset the aim speed. But while the M107 balance changes are nice, there's also one more conventional solution. Now I know I might get a lot of backlash for this, but hear me out. Stylis could also just remove the M107 entirely. Again, hear me out, don't go to the comment section just yet, just please let me explain. The M107 in its current state is extremely powerful. Even if these balance changes go through as they are now, the M107 will still be completely unmatched in the sniper category, and this was simply the fault of it being added in the first place. Stylis themselves have even said in the past that something like an M107 would never make it to Phantom Forces. However, then a certain gun vote happened, and here we are. And as Denianwriter once expertly said,
"But I think that there are some weapons that just can't be added into the games without making them a neutered version of their real-life counterparts. I think they should have never added the AA-12's 20-round drum in the same way I think they should have never added the M107. Some guns are very specialized and as a result hard to balance. On old Mirage, if you sat in the back of the map with an M107, you basically achieved immortality.
Some guns just shouldn't be in a multiplayer first-person shooter. If Stylis remove the M107, what I think they should do after is either refund everyone who bought the M107s or attachments on it, or, a much simpler solution, give everybody with an M107 a complimentary credit sum back of around maybe 5 to 10,000 credits if not higher. But that about wraps up what I had to say about the M107 and the recent balance changes it has undergone. Remember one thing though, don't ever send death threats to somebody under any circumstances, especially not over something as stupid as somebody making a video complaining about a gun in a LEGO first-person shooter.